What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Moto Vice here. We got a special episode tonight for the 22 Panigale V4S. So if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, we just got a special delivery from Mr. Postman. We got the Termignoni black dual exit titanium slip-on exhaust. So this one has been on my mind for a bit after I've been looking at some other options. Also some of the sound clips. I mean, this exhaust just sounds so deep. You know, especially it's 1100, it's gonna have that deep rumble. So super stoked. It looks amazing compared to the, you know, Akrapovic, the Aero. What else? They got the SC projects, the other Termignoni exhausts out there. This one has always caught my eye, and I think it looks super sweet. It's gonna look good with the new design of the 22 Panigale. So yeah, I'm stoked to throw this guy on, and let's give you guys a cold start. Even though it's nothing too exciting of what the bike sounds stock, then we'll show what comes in the box and we'll dive in. Alright, so this is the box that she came in. So let's start unpacking her, see what we got inside. So here is our Sprint air filter. This is the P08. If you're not going to be buying it with the kit, I'll give you a link where you can buy this Sprint filter if you're interested. Here we have our UpMap and Euro 5 OBD cable, where we can do the flash straight from our phone. Put this off to the side. And here is one of the cans. Let's just get it all out on the table real quick. Got some instructions. Here's our carbon heat shields right here. These look pretty nice. So let's put these here. Here's the other can. Let's put that off to the side right here. And then here's all the hardware. So, as I always say, please excuse the mess. I share a garage with my future sister-in-law and her father, so this is not my stuff. I try to keep my side of the garage clean. But yeah, let's take a look at the exhaust. So, just pulling this out. So it's a black titanium with kind of like a bluing on the bands. This is a little sticker that's going to come off, but just look at this pipe, or this muffler. I mean, Termignoni did such a good job. The welds are amazing. The color looks so good. Here's the DB killers, which we're going to take out. So it looks like there's two bolts right there from the underside that we're going to undo, pull them out. And then for this one, this is going to be the left side. So the left side pretty much wraps around and then goes to the back. So once again, gosh, this looks so good. They did such a good job. Love the kind of texture they have on the exits as well. So this dent right here is actually by design. So if you do get one of these exhausts, this is not a design flaw or a bend in your exhaust. I believe it has to do with some clearance for the kickstand. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. That's actually how it comes. So let's put this off right here. And then, I'm not going to take them out now, but each side gets a carbon heat shield, so pretty much it would go on like this, and this would mate up right to the edge of the bottom fairings. So here's all our mounting hardware. Here's some of the brackets. They actually included a spring puller, which I'm surprised. That actually rarely ever comes in the packaging. But yeah, we got all of our washers, spacers, bolts, everything right here. Some instructions. I heard these are not that great, so there might be a little bit of figuring out to do. And then, yeah, like I showed you earlier, Sprint P08 filter, upmap Bluetooth unit, and the OBD Euro 5 cable. So, before we can start playing with this and throwing it on the bike, let's take off that stock canister. So, first thing we got to do is take off the bottom half of the fairings. You're going to need a 4mm Allen. So we're just going to use our little Milwaukee right here to take these out. There's 3 on the belly, which joins the bottom fairings together. First one is a silver bolt, and the back 2 are black. Remember that these also have the clear paint protector on the bolt as well, so make sure to save that. Put these off to the side. Now we just got to take off these 4 bolts right here. The first 3 are 3mm and the last one is 4mm. So now we should be able to pull down the bottom fairing. Be gentle. Kind of pull it back for this tab right here. And then this piece specifically connects to some, I think it's a rubber kind of drain, I think. I don't know exactly what it's for. So you have to get your fingers back behind there, just lift up the little rubber piece. So on the underside of this fairing, that plastic piece that I was talking about is right here. So it actually is an outlet for something. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But this rubber sleeve right here is what goes over this. It connects to it, so it can drain whatever this is connected to. So let's put this off to the side. So pretty much same process on the right side. So take our 3mm Allen. Gonna remove the first 3 bolts. And we have that 4mm back here, just like the other side. Now we got our right bottom fairing off. Put this off to the side. So there's 2 springs that we have to remove, one back here and one up here. So I'm going to take my spring puller, pull this one up, and then we'll just remove this guy, put it off to the side, and then we'll move on to the front. So it's hard to get a shot of this, but the spring is right here. So we're going to be pulling up right around the rear master cylinder to get this one off. So we just pulled up on that guy, be able to pull it through. So this one's off. Now from the left side, this spring right here, which connects the left section to the link pipe, we got to remove this one as well. So I'm going to try to pull it back. There we go. There's also one more spring on the underside, on the left side of the bike. So we're just going to pull this guy out. So total of 4 springs. Now that the springs are off, we're going to start unbolting the stock muffler. This is a 6mm Allen socket. So for the left mounting bolt, which is right here, a little bit hard to see, but that's also a 6mm Allen. So just gonna get this guy out. Now for your exhaust servo, these are 8mm nuts right here. So we're just going to break these loose. And then there's also one tucked up here. Now we can just pull the servo off. Now this is the plug that goes into your wiring harness. So we can just back it off. Now to get this servo plug off, just using a little pick to pull up on the side. And then we're going to pull back. Now that we have this white top piece off, we're just going to pull, push down and then pull out. And now here's our plug for the servo. So we're going to pretty much put this back up in here, just zip tie it right around this connector right here. So now for the servo, we have the cable removed. We can just set it down off to the side. Now this is the part that no one really likes to do, which is banging stuff onto your bike. But basically we need to loosen this connector right here from the header to the muffler down here, and we need to do it from the right side and get this side completely disconnected first before we move on to the left side, and then hit it backwards, which then we can remove it. So I can see the gasket slowly coming out a little bit. So we are making progress. Just gotta keep going at it until we break this one loose. Alright guys, so now you can see that we banged it down far enough to where you can see this section of the pipe coming out. So we're going to move on to the left side. We're going to be hitting it this way now, and then hopefully this thing will drop off pretty soon. Alright, so for the left side, basically we just need to disconnect this joint. So we're going to be hitting the dowel in this area right here, probably underneath a little bit. But basically where the left side joins up, we need to hit it back, and then eventually it'll drop down. Apparently this is the more difficult side, even though I thought the other side was pretty difficult so far. So yeah, let's get started on this side now. Alright, looks like we got it loosened up to be able to pull her out. So and there we go. So here's your servo motor. If you don't have a servo buddy, like a servo delete plug-in, I would recommend just disconnecting the cables right here, and then plugging the electrical back in and mounting it, or else you're going to throw a check engine light until you get a flash, which you can disable that with. But yeah, we got it off. Alright, so before we mount these on, we're going to want to remove the DB killers, which is a 4mm Allen for both of them. So one little screw there. One little screw here. and then they simply just slide out. Little DB killers. That looks so cool. So I'm going to screw these back in to here just in case I ever need to use them in the future. Laguna Seca in California does have a decibel limit, so it's good to keep these just in case. So we'll do the same for the other one. So before we get on with assembling the muffler pieces, we need to remove this stock bracket, which is right here. This is a, what is it, 6mm Allen socket, and we're actually replacing it with the version, the titanium version that Termignoni sent us. So we're just going to take these two screws out. So this bracket is just going to slide out. So there we go, we got it out. Now we just slide in the titanium piece that was provided right where the other one went. Try to get the holes lined up. There we go. So I'm going to get these threaded by hand first. Make sure we're in. Okay, the bottom one's good. Top one's good. So now we're just going to tighten these down a little bit more. So you got your stock bracket removed. So we have the Termignoni version on, so we'll throw this in the parts bin and we'll go back to the muffler. Alright, so on the muffler itself, we're going to take this part first and feed it through this opening right here. And then we're going to put the rubber spacer around that, and then the metal top hat spacer is going to go in the middle and join this all together. So that's going to look like that. Now we just need to take the threaded clips, make sure that the threads are going downward, and they're just going to slide over this part right here. This is for the carbon shield, so just enough where you can see the threads. And then same thing one more time down here. So we're sliding it over this opening. Now both of those are on. So now we're at the point where we're going to start test fitting and handling the pipe a lot more. So I'm going to wipe this down with some alcohol, and then we're going to throw in some gloves just so we don't get any oil into the titanium. So taking 91% isopropyl alcohol, I'm just going to wipe it down just in case, even on the parts that I know I didn't touch. You definitely, you spend a lot of money on exhaust. Don't want your fingerprint oils to burn into the titanium. So just going to wipe basically all the titanium parts down. Remove any fingerprint oil from our hands, anything like that. So this one should be good. I'll wipe down the other one real quick. Alright, so now we're going to take the right side, gently slide it over the header or link pipe. I think it's pretty much just a header. So we got it over, and just test fitting, making sure it lines up with the hole with the bracket, and it does, so we're good. Just going to let it rest here gently while I go grab the correct bolt, washer, and nut. Alright, so in the box you're going to get two bolts that are the same length, and then one is actually longer. So we're going to be using one of the two bolts that are on the shorter end with the washer. We're also going to be putting some Loctite, even though these are nylon locking nuts. So just putting some Loctite on these threads. Just going to push the muffler up. Line up the hole. And then this is a 13mm nut that goes on the rear. I don't know the torque specs right at the moment. I'm gonna go look them up, but I'm at least gonna get this snug for now. So we're using our 6mm Allen socket with our 13 in the rear. We're just gonna snug this up. Alright, now this side of the muffler is mounted. Let's go back to the workbench. So before we get to work on the other muffler, instructions want us to put these springs on the exhaust. So we're using our spring puller. Got the first one on. Now there is one underneath as well. So we're going to put this guy on. Now that one is on. Now I can go back to the workbench. Alright, so for the right heat shield, I just want to show you guys how to do this properly. Here we have this little top hat spacer, and then we have some, I believe it's like a carbon washer, carbon fiber washer, not exactly sure. But this is going to go on this side, and then also put one of those washers on this bolt right here. This is a 3mm bolt. So basically these washers just prevent any marring and crushing of the carbon fiber. So we're just going to slide that through, just like that. We're going to have we're going to be able to screw in to these that we just put on the right muffler. So I'm going to get the other one, we'll go screw it in, see how it looks. Alright, so now that you have the carbon shield and the bolt and washer that I just spoke about on the workbench, I'm pinching them with my fingers. We're just going to lightly get it into the fastener. I would suggest doing the bottom first. It's kind of hard to get to if you do the top one first. So I'm just going to go by hand just to make sure that I get it in without any problems. There we go. So now just do the exact same thing. So bolt, washer, and then top hat spacer with the washer over it. Going to stick it through on this side once again. And then it's just going to bolt up into the fastener right up top. Not tightening it, I'm going left so I can find that click, which I just found. No, I didn't. So another thing I'm noticing is that these carbon washers, or whatever kind of metal they are, they like to move around a little bit. So just try to keep them in place as best as you can. Now this side is completely done. So once we throw the fairing back on, I mean, this is going to look so good. So before we start working on the left muffler, we need to remove the exhaust hanger that was being used with the OEM exhaust muffler. So just loosen the two bolts right here. Wow, that was really loose. It's kind of weird. Loosen these two. I don't think we'll have to take them out all the way, but we'll see. we loosen them up. Let's see if we can slide it out from behind. So that one's done. This one. Alright. Okay, took a little force, but this is the bracket that I was referring to. So this thing we no longer need, and we need to put the new bracket that was provided by Termignoni right where that bracket was. Alright, now take the bracket from Termignoni, and these two holes right here are going to line up exactly where they just were. So just like this, and this part going this way. So let's see if we can slide it back up in there. Here we go. That one's in, and that one's in. Okay. So let's just tighten these back down. And remember, this is a 6mm Allen socket. Checking the bracket. Okay, it's good. Now let's actually tighten these down. I'm actually a little worried that this was loose. I don't know. It's definitely odd. Alright, that bracket's on there. Now let's go assemble the rest of the left muffler. Alright, so we're just going to take this rubber top hat washer, put it in, put the other one behind it. Then we're going to take the metal top hat spacer, fit it into the rear. Now this side is good to go. We're also going to do the same with this hole right there. So this side goes in, another rubber washer on the back, and then the last metal top hat spacer just goes right there. I've seen some videos where some people aren't installing the second mount, but I think it's smart to. Try to reduce as much vibration as possible. As you know, these Ducatis do shake a bit, so if we can reduce as much of that as possible, that'd be great. This guy's being a little stubborn. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to put two clips on the right and the left side of this bracket right here, and this is for your chain guard, which I do recommend putting on. You know, the chain is going to fling a lot of lube or wax or whatever you prefer to use, and it's just going to get all over your cans if you don't install it. So I'm going to be throwing it on. So now these are a 4mm Allen. So just going to hand thread these in like usual. Get the other one. We might take this off at some point and get it powder coated black. I don't know why it is not black. Doesn't make any sense to me. But we can do that later. Seems like it'll be an easy part to remove once we're there. So just tighten down these 4mm bolts. Pull this up a little bit. Like I said, so this is optional, but your chain is just going to get your exhaust so dirty. You'd be cleaning it quite a lot. So chain guards installed. We got both mounts up here. Now we just need to do the clips for the carbon shield. Let's move some things out the way so we don't scratch it. So the carbon shield is only going to attach to these two ones right here. So we'll put these clips on. Cut that one. And got this one. So we're going to do the shield in a bit, but it's just going to mount just like that. And then the last clip is just going to go right here on the end for your chain guard. So make sure this is centered. Looking good. Alright, now let's go test fit it on the bike. So one thing you might run into is this section of the pipe hitting the muffler. So leave this side loose to where you can kind of push it and maneuver it, because this is going up to the vertical header that comes down, and that's where it's going to connect. Also on this top mount right here, we're actually using the longer screw. So remember from the beginning there was two shorter ones and then one longer. And the one that's longer goes right up in here. So we're going to put some thread locker on there as well. Alright, so for this bolt right here, the long one, I am having to push this back and up to get it aligned. Now I'm going to take our 6 and just 6mm and turn it backwards just so I can hear that click, make sure I'm not cross-threading. Alright, looks like we got that one on. And then for this, we're probably going to have to loosen these again. But I want to make sure that this is going in. So I'm going to leave that a little bit loose. And we're going to loosen these just a little bit so I can get some play with this bracket since it's not lining up. Alright. Now we can try to maneuver this bracket a little bit. These need to be a little bit looser. Thing's like so close, it's so annoying. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to pull down on it. Okay, that's how it's gonna have to be. Alright, so we're taking that other shorter bolt, that second one, putting Loctite on it, and then the 13mm nut in the back. I'm gonna use a washer as well. And we're going to have to pull down on the exhaust now to try to get this lined up. Alright, that's through. Now we're going to take our nylon locking nut, put that in the rear. Alright. So we're mounted here. They're not all the way tightened, which is fine. Now we just need to do the two springs from the top, from the header where it meets with the new system, and then carbon shield, and we're done. So I put the springs on. Now just take your 13. It's a little bit tight back in here. but you should be able to get your 13 around that nut. And then we can tighten this guy. Alright, so this one's good to go. Now the last one we need to tighten is all the way up here. So I'm going to get an extender. There we go. So before you put the last carbon shield on, this is going to be your last opportunity to wipe it down with alcohol. So I'm going to do it again, even though, you know, I wore gloves the entire time. I have been sweating, so I don't know if it might have gotten on the pipes at all or anything. So alright, so one of the last things we got to do is just put our chain guard back. So the two prongs go in right here, where that bolt is right there. And then pretty much just make sure you have both washers on the side, and take your bolt and put it into the bracket that we installed previously. So now we just have to put our fairings back on, so hook them around the front. Make sure that front tab goes in, and then just keep lining up the rest of them. Now this is that 4mm that goes in the back. Make sure it's centered. I've made that mistake before. Ooh, that looks sharp. I gotta say, that looks super sharp. I know it's dark out, but the all black kind of coming out from underneath, whew, looks good. Looks really good. Now it's time to do the left bottom fairing. Just remember with this one specifically, there's that vent canal right there that we have to make sure we line up properly. Now with these, remember, this side overlaps the other side, and the silver one goes first. Alright guys, so it's like 5 in the morning right now. I'm not going to start my bike up to hear it. So tomorrow morning, or sorry, today, come back to the garage, get you guys a cold start so you guys can hear it. And yeah, then we'll wrap it up. Super excited. Alright guys, so it's later on during the day. I actually finished the job at 4 in the morning. Started it, I don't know, like 11:30, but of course it takes twice as long when I film everything. Try to be as detailed as possible for you guys, so We didn't get to start it, so I'm going to show you the exhaust real quick now that we got some light out, and then we'll do a cold start, and that's going to wrap it up. So let me show you the exhaust. So here's the exhaust from the left side of the bike. Looking pretty good. Carbon heat shield. It's looking really nice. It's interesting how it comes off at a different angle than the one on the right, but that black titanium just looks so good, especially with the black V4S kind of color scheme they did with the fairings. So if we go to the other side, see how it comes out at a different angle. It's kind of interesting. One's like horizontal, one kind of points up. But looks so good. Super stoked with how this came out. So we took the baffles out, DB killers are out. So let's throw it on the tripod and let's give it a cold start. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this episode of the Termignoni black titanium slip-on exhaust. So I think it sounds great. It's got that deep tone, it's got the growl upon throttle. I can tell there's a little bit of fueling issues upon throttle, but that's going to be fixed with the up map that we're going to be putting on pretty soon. So it's not the play in the throttle, which I know you guys know about, and we do have an episode coming up to fix that, so stay tuned. But yeah, so once we get the up map, everything will be running good, and that's pretty much it, guys. This is a hard video to make, so if you guys enjoyed it, it was helpful to you, drop a like. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I respond to all the comments on my videos, and if you're new to the channel, hey, we're growing. Definitely show some support, hit that subscribe button, much appreciated. And yeah, hope you guys ride safe, and stay tuned for the next episode.